What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Backtrack Cinema. My name is Jason, and I am your host. As I always say, I'm your judge, jury, and executioner of this retro channel. And usually I go back in the past, but every now and then I talk some independent films, and we are talking with Steve Merlo today, director of Sawyer Massacre. I pulled this out today, and his recent one, Unseen, which you guys can watch on Tubi right now. So every now and then, guys, I like to interview a filmmaker. Now, Steve and I go way back to my beginning of YouTube about 6 years ago. He's one of the first guys I ever interviewed. So welcome back, Steve.
Thanks, man. It's great to be back. It's been too long.
Too long.
Too
Way,
long.
way,
Way
way,
too
way
long.
too long.
At
Way
least a
too
few
long. I
years
think
since we last did.
yeah, we
At
did
least maybe 3 or 4 years ago now. I don't know.
we talked the original Texas Chainsaw and compared it with the remake, I believe, on this channel. Anyway, I know we go back way
Wow.
further than that, but yeah, and that was I think 3 years ago. So I think anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been too long, buddy, and I guess I'll just get right out and say it. Like the movie, I think you've really grown as a filmmaker. It feels like it's Sawyer Massacre was was a nice little horror flick, something you're passionate about. But this felt like something that you're just getting better. Same with like when I watched the trailer for James Grimm's Halloween movie, and he another one. He's just getting better with each film. So congratulations on this. I don't know how people responding to this so far.
So far, pretty good. Which has me a little bit worried. I gotta say, because one thing that really helped the Sawyer Massacre, at least, anyways, get lots of views was the trolls coming in and just really starting to give me the hate comments, and that all of a sudden just really sparked all the views. So I haven't really had the haters giving a lot of bad reviews so far. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, and maybe it just means not enough people are watching it yet. But I'm sure I'll get some hate eventually. But so far, we had a really good review yesterday from the person that actually did the painting in our movie, and it's amazing how much she actually really got the film. She was one of the few people that really understood all the little details and nuances of this movie. So reading that review was really quite a delight for me to see, because I like it when people really get it, because this is a tough movie to get. I gotta say, it really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, as the influences of Black Christmas are evident in there, and I'm a huge fan of that movie. And I like your creepy little slow burn. That's actually my kind of film. Like I like that stuff. Um, and going with someone trying to move on and abuse past and getting into all those little themes, which we'll talk about with you since you're here, so we can get a good sense of the movie and everything to my audience and everything. But I don't want to. Let's just say hi to everyone before we get going, and we'll
Sure.
start. I'll start. We'll break this thing down with Steve and all that, guys. So we got Jamie Akami.
Oh, that's Jamie Hill. She was in our movie.
Oh, hey, what's
She
up?
plays Crystal's mother.
Crystal's mother. Oh, okay, okay.
Well, kind
right.
of. Well,
Yeah,
kind of mother.
I know what you mean. I know
Yeah.
what you mean. We got Marion.
Marianka. That's Marianka.
Doomsday Crypt. How you doing, man?
Hey, it's John Henderson.
And Paula Fitzhenry is here. And Gory
Hi,
Tiger,
Paula.
what's up, buddy? How you doing?
There you go.
All right.
Lots of people already. Good stuff.
All right,
How
Steve.
are you all doing?
Let's start at the beginning here. So what was the inspiration or the spark in you that made you want to write this and film it?
It just started with a weird nightmare I had, which is kind of different than the movie ended up being, but it just sparked ideas for where I'd want to go with this. But it was kind of a dark nightmare about a guy whose life just changed in an instant, because of a bad decision, and that just kind of sparked the ideas of this movie. And And that's really what this movie is about. At its heart, it's about, how life can change in a flash when you make the wrong decision and you act in the heat of the moment. And I'm sure we've all been there to an extent. We've all been taken to the peak of our anger or whatever, when somebody's pushed us to the limit, and you almost feel like it could do the unthinkable. And this movie kind of plays out where, our antagonist has done the unthinkable, and you as the viewer get to follow in his footsteps and see the trauma that he's going through, and see how this person's mind just mentally cannot comprehend what he's done. So he's trying to satisfy his mind and goes on this super dark journey, and just makes things worse and worse.
Yeah, definitely got some creep factor there. um all right. So for people who haven't seen it yet, Steve, how would you describe Unseen without, I don't know, without, I guess you kind of did, without giving too much away, but yeah.
It's a hard movie not to spoil, I gotta say. But that's the idea is, to put the viewer in the mind of this person who's the antagonist in the film. He is a killer. He kills people, but at the end of the day, he's a person just like you and me. And he just happened to have done something so bad that his mind can't comprehend. And there's a little bit of ambiguity with what he has done, and the audience can kind of get, maybe put some pieces together on what he's done. But again, it's a little bit ambiguous, so you can kind of theorize a little bit, but you can theorize a lot about this movie. There is a good amount of ambiguity, probably not as much though as you probably would think there is when you watch it, because it comes across, a lot of this stuff comes across like it's ambiguous, but there are answers if you know where to look. It's very, I guess, abstract in that way. You have to know exactly where all the puzzle pieces are that puts it all together.
Well, you got me, because
I
I did not pick up on who I still don't know who the killer is, and I think that's gonna be enjoyable to go back and watch it and maybe pick up on that stuff. But so you did a good job hiding it if that was the intention. But I've never been very good at that. If I figure out your movie in the first scene or the first few scenes, there is something wrong.
There is something wrong.
So because I'm not very good at that, man. I'm not.
I definitely don't try to make it predictable. I don't think that our film was predictable in any way. I don't think you could have seen the end coming the way it did. And I know that our ending is probably going to piss a lot of people off. I think so, because again, there's a little bit of ambiguity there. But there is also a giveaway towards the end as well. But you got to know what you're looking for. It's very hard to spot, and so far only one person has spotted it on the first viewing, and it's like, okay, I get that. I get that now. And I won't say what it is. It could be who the killer is, or it could be who Amy is, or whatever. A lot of the things that tie together. There's a lot that ties together in this movie, and it's just, you gotta understand what you're looking for, and understanding why is this character saying this at this moment. We even had a moment when we're on set, because a lot of the actors didn't realize some of these things, and one of the actors said to me, can I just get rid of all this dialogue here, because it doesn't seem to have a point to the story. I'm like, it actually does. It really, if this is something big right here. And he's like, wait a sec, is this what I think it is? It is one of those movies where once you put it together, it makes a lot of sense. But it's hard. It's a hard movie to put together. But I think it's one of those movies that if you watch it, every time you watch it, I think you're going to pick up something new. I think, anyways.
Yeah, well, I'll be excited. So Marianne says, "I love the shots of Kelowna. Obviously, that's
Kelowna.
your
That's
hometown, right?" And it
Kelowna,
was
yeah.
filmed Kelowna. Okay, and it was filmed at a friend's house. Sweet.
Yeah, she knows the main the owners of the main house that we filmed at. I've known Marianka for years. She used to come to my gigs back in the day.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I haven't gigged in a while, man. I miss playing.
I just play at home.
I don't even do that any. I used to play at home all the time, but now just no time.
I
Well,
understand.
the calluses on my fingers are like gone now.
I get that. Trust me, I get that. Okay, so when you're creating this film, like what was the kind of fear you were trying to tap into?
The fear of our own selves and what we're capable of. I think we all have that darkness within us, and I think I know I've seen it before, and it is scary, man. It's scary to think that we have this ability in ourselves. If we're pushed to that dark place. It's been compared a little bit to falling down in that way. Michael Douglas falling down. So if you watch that movie, you might be able to make some comparisons, to
Right.
our antagonist in our film. So
Yeah, a guy who snaps.
yeah, a guy who snaps. A lot of similarities, more than you realize, more than some people realize. They'll say like, "Oh, yeah, I get falling down vibes." There's another similar connection to the character in Falling Down that people miss. I'll say that.
Well, it's actually been a lot of years since I've seen that, but I remember really liking it.
There you go. Great film.
Matt's in the house. Fachi Cinema. It's
Matt Fachi. Wasn't sure if you're still around. I haven't seen you in ages.
He's actually goes live every week.
Really? Man.
It's YouTube notifications. You know what I mean?
I got to do that. Yeah, I got to hit that bell more often on. I don't know. I'm so behind on the times, man.
But yeah, Matt's been pretty consistent over the years.
Really?
He's like he goes live once or twice a week, every week.
I do get notifications from Good Real Hunting every now and again, though. I do still get their notifications, so I must have clicked their bell or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I must have forgot to click Matt's.
Well, it is a crazy algorithm, and it just depends what you're watching on YouTube. Really, that's how it works. So, okay, I came somewhat prepared here. Okay, so you've tapped into this vibe of what I really like is you put on display what you don't see. You let us project things in our mind. As Dave McRae says, theater of the mind. You're going for this, right? And I like that, and I like how, in a lot of ways, I didn't even really need to know who the killer was for this movie to work for me either.
So that's good. I hope it'll work that way for some people. It won't for everybody, obviously, but
So my question is, why do you think what we don't see is often scarier than what we do?
The fear of the unknown. I mean, it's I think we all have this. If we can see it, we can avoid it. We have that mentality that again, yeah, like if we can see it, we can avoid it, or we know what we're facing. But when you don't know what you're facing, when you hear this voice in the dark and you don't know where it's coming from, we have a scene where our killer is in the dark and he's hiding somewhere, and we have this victim's like, who the hell is that? Where the hell are you? And she's looking around the room. We get a bit of her POV in that, and I think that to me that's frightening. When you don't know where the voice is coming from, and you don't know who it is, and it's what's going to happen to me. Where do I go? What do I do? It's. I think that's a terror I think a lot of us have had since we were little kids, when we thought there's monsters under the bed,
Yeah.
Or in the closet. Or behind the curtain.
I had a real experience when I was a kid. That so when I did watch Black Christmas, that movie affected me even more. Whereas my brother was babysitting us. My parents went out, and so we had a basement, right? And you know how they
Okay.
had a little window in the basement. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where basically where your driveway is. It's where
Yeah.
your house is level with. Well, I was sitting there watching TV. I was like, and I looked up, and all I saw was this guy looking in, his eye just peeking in.
Ugh.
And I went to my brother, so I was freaking terrified. And I said, so he went out to look, and he couldn't find my parents. When my parents came back, all there was this footprints. They thought my parents just chalked it up. It was just some drunk who didn't know where he was, and it was nothing. It was nothing like intentional or they think it was just and he just kind of peeked into the window, right? But that
Oh
terrified me.
yeah.
And so when I watched Black Christmas for the first time a few years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, when that eye scene, I went, oh,
Oh yeah.
it brought back that memory. So
Yeah.
and like because I didn't know who this person was or what. It was just this crazy eye, right? So
Oh man, one of the most terrifying scenes ever, I think. Uh,
right,
but I love it.
absolutely,
I mean, there were parts of me that wanted to do something similar in this movie, but I opted not to just because well, I didn't want to feel like I'm really copying Black Christmas that much. But I mean, you can definitely see the influence that Black Christmas had on this film. Not story wise. I think our story is completely different, but
yeah.
the POV stuff, the way we shot a lot of this film, definitely was an homage to Black Christmas, and you could see the influence. And I hope that people appreciate that. If you appreciate Black Christmas, that is, not everybody does. So some people don't like slow burns, and that's okay.
Yeah, I love them, and I thought, yeah, I'm a huge slow burn guy. I'm like Rosemary's Babies, right up my
Yeah.
alley. Like you know what I mean, stuff like that,
Yep.
where it's just a build and a build and a build, and watching your killer going through these houses, peeking through the window, doing all these sorts of things.
Yeah.
Um, um, all right. You kind of talked about a little bit about the theme, so do you see this film? Were you trying to deliver more of a message, more of an experience you wanted people to go through in this film, or a bit of both?
Bit of both for
Yeah.
sure. I think the message. I mean, we hear on the news a lot of times. Somebody who seemed like a perfectly great person. Killed himself and his whole family or something like that. We've seen it. I've heard that story a million times. What the hell made this guy do this? And this movie kind of takes that idea and really rolls with it. So I think that's the mess. There's a bit of a mental health message there for sure. That we don't know how well somebody really is sometimes. But the experience for sure. I mean, I wanted people to experience what it's like to be in this person's shoes. To be at that point where you've just lost everything, and how
Yeah.
close maybe some of us have been to there sometimes. It's I know I've been somewhat close before. I mean, we've all had bad experiences in our lives. We've all been dumped. There's a bit of a theme there with the being dumped, and how bad you felt when that happened. And so yeah, a bit of both for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
he just kind of just can't handle it. It's kind of like a he's cracking he cracks under the such loss, I guess. Um
You could say that. Again, a
yes.
bit of ambiguity there, though. So I don't want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the movie, I'm not. I'm trying my best not to really spoil a
Um
lot of things for you, but you
do you
get
want
the
to keep it
idea.
completely spoiler free, or do you want
Oh, we
me
could.
to?
I mean, it's pretty hard not to. I mean, the movie has been on Tubi for like 3 weeks now, so I mean, we can. And I did mild spoilers on my channel the other night, so I mean, it's not a big deal, but I won't give into like any really big giveaways. If you're, I said this on my channel the other night. If you're one of those people that has to know I'll tell you, but it's got to be behind closed doors, in a private message. If you're one of those people that has to know all the ins and outs, then I'll give it to you. But I don't want to spoil it like right now in a live spoil everything in a live setting. I will eventually, though. I will, because there is a lot of stuff I want to be able to talk about with this film, but I want to give it some time before I do make sure everybody has really had a decent chance to
Yeah,
see it.
it's like a mystery movie. I just
It is.
reviewed. I did just a short review on my YouTube shorts of. Do you remember Shattered with Tom Berenger in
Oh yeah,
1991?
it's been a
That was
long
a
time.
great movie, and I was
Yeah.
like, I did not see that ending. I was guessing. I go, I think this is where it's going. Then it throws me a curveball, and then right at the end, me and my wife were like, "What a great job they did with a twist on that
There you
movie."
go.
So that's the kind of movie that is, though, that you have to, if you want to talk about it, you have to
Yeah.
talk about from the end to the beginning, because
Yeah.
it's because it all makes sense once you see it from the beginning. Um,
It's been a long time since I've seen that one, so
Yeah,
I'll
a lot
have
of people don't
to.
even know it. It's
Oh yeah,
it's
I
fun.
know I've seen it. I know I've seen it, but it was probably the '90s when I saw it. So
Yeah, it's
over 2 decades for sure.
but mystery thriller, yeah, they're just great fun to get into those any of those kind of films. All right, so when it comes to building tension, how do you approach without relying too much on jump scares?
Yeah, I mean, it's about being, man. It's tough to explain because and when I did it with this film, there was definitely a few scenes where I had to I didn't have enough, and I had to go back and add more
Right.
to it, specifically the bathroom scene towards the end. I had to add an extra angle to that shot just to add the extra tension. So sometimes you need to have more, I guess you can say, and have your actors, really pace themselves, because it's going to take them. It's going to take a little bit of that build up and really move slow, the slow movements, and all that kind of stuff, and the camera movements too are very, very important. The push-ins, and the push-ins got to be
Yeah.
nice and slow. It's you got to really keep those the right. This It's amazing how the speed of the camera movement makes a difference. You don't realize that, but if we did that too fast, well, then it feels like we're doing the big what you call it, finale of this
Right.
scene right too quickly. It's
Yeah, yeah, you're definitely amping up the pace as it went along. Like, it starts really slow, and I noticed the pacing changing, and then the third act, I was like, he's ramping it up now. Like, I especially liked, I won't give away too much here, guys, but I especially liked your closet scene where
You
he's in
like
the
that one when he
yeah,
actually is in the closet, or not the scene after where,
no,
yeah,
no, though, when he comes like charging out of the closet, like
yeah.
I thought that was I thought that was quite good. I like that part.
Yeah, I like that.
And
Yeah,
I
I love
liked
that
your
scene.
character of Jessica so much that I was just like, oh,
Oh, shout out to Katarina, who played
oh,
Jessica, who
yeah,
got the part like a month before filming, by the way. And it was, I had just put out the casting call because for Jessica at that point, because we had cast somebody else in that role, and she couldn't do it because well, our budget wouldn't allow us to buy a plane ticket for her to come from Florida. The other person was coming from Florida, so I didn't have the money to pay for her plane ticket. And Katarina emailed me saying she saw our casting call, and she was like, "I'm based in New York and Los Angeles sometimes." And first thing I said to her is, "I can't afford your plane ticket. I'm sure you're a great actress, but." And she said, "Well, I saw your your concept teaser, the concept we had teaser on Indiegogo, and I loved it so much. I just really want to be a part of this movie. will you still take my audition? And if I really, if I get the part and I really like the script and all that, I'll just come down and do and pay for the flight and all that myself. And I was like, whoa, you would do that, And so I got kind of lucky there. She not only gave a great audition, and at the time, I'm thinking, well, she's Russian. I didn't see the character as being Russian. And she's got a pretty thick Russian accent.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, anyway, you could lose that accent, but I don't know what it was, but it just worked for me. And her acting was so good. I really felt the character I was going for with her acting that I couldn't say no to her. Well, I couldn't say no to her also because we didn't have anybody else auditioning for the part.
Right.
So nobody that was the right age, at least.
I thought she was quite good. I mean, I dug all three of them, the three main girls, like the friends, and correct me if I'm wrong. Is that Brett Wagner? Wasn't he not Leatherface for like one day of shooting of the remake?
I think it was more than one day. It was one scene, though. I think they spent a lot of days trying to.
But
film
he got sick, right? And he had to be replaced.
Yeah, I believe it was heat stroke.
Yeah, that's the story. Yeah. If he's in the scene, I think he is. I think he did the scene where he sledgehammers the guy.
Yeah.
He's quite good in that movie.
He's been in a lot of, Brett Wagner's been in a lot of stuff you've probably seen, not just horror too, he's done quite a lot. So we have a few.
And he was the voice, right? He was the voice of was it the father?
The father, yeah. He was when she's reading the letter, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people think he's the killer. And I can see why, because he played Leatherface. And, but sorry guys, he's not the killer. Spoiler alert. I don't know.
I thought about that too, and that's what I mean. I'm like, Steve threw me through a loop here because I have no idea, man. Maybe you'll let me know off camera.
but maybe his letter gives some clues. I'll just say that.
Okay, I'll give her another watch. Okay. Sorry, I got to go back to my notes here. Because I can't remember anything anymore, Steve.
That's okay. I'm the same way. Welcome to your 40s, right?
Yeah.
40 pushing 50s, right?
Me pushing 50, 47. I just turned. So
I'm just turning 46 in a couple months here. So
we're the same age then, yeah.
More or less.
So what was a scene that you really thought you were pushing the suspense to its ultimate limit?
Definitely what we just talked about, that bedroom scene where he's in the closet. Okay. I really feel like the suspense is pretty heavy in that scene, and the bathroom scene as well. And again, the bathroom scene wouldn't have worked as well if I didn't go back and reshoot a little something extra. And it was tough because I was the only one shooting at that point. My cinematographer lives about 6 hours away from me, and I had to ask him how to set up the camera. There was a bunch of stuff I reshot.
Good shout out to him, by the way, because I really like the way it was filmed.
Yeah, cinematographer who basically had to do all the camera work for the most part.
A lot of the POV, but I also like what I'm calling your Halloween shot when she's walking home.
You noticed that too, right?
Oh yeah, Steve. Yeah. That was like, I know what this guy's doing. I see it.
Well, conceptually, that was me. I mean, I wanted the shot to look like that, but yeah, obviously, he had to make sure it looked. The look of the shot is going to look very similar, right? So, I mean, it's we shot on a good camera. I mean, ultimately, the camera can help, but obviously, you have to know what you're doing. And I would say this. I mean, there's a couple scenes I wish we had lit a little bit better. Again, that was just down to we just didn't have enough people, enough hands on set. We had decent lights, but some days it was just me and the cinematographer, and it just trying to get things lit when it's just two of us. It's a nightmare. But
I'd be very. You know what? Even if I make a short film one day, the first thing I am going to do is get a cinematographer. I'm not that's something I don't want to do. I want because
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do it. I mean, is and kudos to you on the music. I really enjoyed the music here, Steve. I thought you really grasped the. It really fits what you're going for. The
Very Black
screeches,
Christmas-esque.
yeah, oh yeah, the
You know,
screeches
and
and
Halloween in the score as well.
the little piano. Was there a little piano in there, kind of going on? Yeah,
There's one piece of music that I actually had to talk to a lawyer just to make sure that that it wasn't too close to a John Carpenter piece from Halloween. So I was nervous about that. So thank God
mm,
it's like it's close, but it's not close enough. You know, it is
yeah.
definitely, you know, different
It's
enough. So
with the movie starting when you got the titles going on and everything like that, you got this little piece of music and it was very reminiscent of. It's not. It doesn't sound like it. It's just. It's the same vibe as a little slasher movie called Visiting Hours in the early
oh really?
'80s.
I haven't
It,
even seen it. So that
yeah.
would be totally unintentional if that's the
No, it's
case.
not
Yeah.
even close to the same. It's just the same
Yeah.
vibe. It's the
The
same
same
kind
vibe.
of very subtle and just kind of eerie. It's a there's a ear
Okay.
just an eeriness to it. So, but yeah, I noticed that you did the music for this, which I was like, oh, and you edited this, right? You didn't edit Sawyer Massacre.
Yeah, I
Am I
did not
correct?
edit Sawyer Massacre. I did edit this. I'm not sure if I'm a good editor or not, but you know, um, I think I don't know. I don't think I'm a great editor, but I think I'm learning. I think.
I think you did an awesome job for your first time
Well,
because
thank you.
nothing was too clunky. Nothing. I felt the tension, the slow yeah, lingering on the shots was good. I thought, especially that closet scene we talked about, I really liked.
There you
Especially
go.
like I like how I like also how you frame things like when Crystal gets up and she's got her phone, she's saying, I've been to therapy and everything, and you're looking
Oh
down at the
yeah,
other two and they're very symmetrical the way they're sitting. It was just
yeah.
it's just pleasing to the eye and
Yeah.
um
I'll give my cinematographer more credit on that than me. I mean, I had
yeah
the shots on my
yeah
shot list, but he was very particular on getting the actors framed just
yeah,
right. You know, making
you could
sure.
tell. Yeah, you
Yeah,
could tell. But
he
yeah,
was
I
really
like
good with that.
that's what I mean. I liked I think the technical aspects too, or what you want, it was a little bit of a step up. I think it got better as a filmmaker of what you wanted. Um
I hope I'm
but
always getting a little bit better. You know, I
I
hope I'll
think
be
that's what
better on the next one. You know,
yeah, I think that's what all
it's a learning
filmmakers
experience.
want. You know, they I want to be
Yeah,
better than my next on my
yeah,
next movie, right? That's what you want.
yeah.
And I that's what I got from it. I was like, this is I will say I think it's a better movie as a movie than the Sawyer Massacre was. And I enjoyed the Sawyer Massacre. I was one of those people who really liked it. Um I mean, you know, we talked about how some things didn't work out for you there. Like
Yeah,
your
it's
entrance of Leatherface was something that you just didn't nail that you really wanted
yeah,
to. And
there was a
it,
lot. I mean, and I'll talk about that a little bit because you know when I went to make that movie and this was you know working with a cinematographer I'd never worked with before who was great by the way. I think Charlie like props to him. He was a great cinematographer and but I didn't know what we had to work with. You know, it was that kind of thing. And it's not just with as far as what he's got, but as far as the locations we had and how they were going to match with my shot list. The shot list is so important. And if I had been to Texas a month before to see these locations exactly the way they were, I would have been able to fix my shot list. But you know, and if I knew exactly what kind of equipment Charlie had, but you know, we had to mostly rely on a really good slider. That was the bulk of our movement came from a slider.
I was
And
thinking about getting one of those.
sliders are hey man, sliders probably do about 80% of the shots that I do in my movie. So I mean it works, but there's definitely a couple of shots I wanted to have like on a gimbal and you know definitely wanted a crane like at least a mini jib for one or two shots here and there and you know it just didn't have those so we made do with what we got and we got the best shots with what we could but you know my shot list basically went out the window for both of those reasons, the locations and what he had. So I didn't even look at my shot list after. I basically threw it out while we were filming
Oh,
the Sawyer Massacre. Whereas
oh my God.
with Unseen,
Mm,
I was able to keep my shot list and probably got at least a good 90-95% of everything that was on that shot list.
yeah,
And the other, we did some different stuff, so that I can at least say, was the best for me as a filmmaker. I was able to capture the vision I had through the
yeah.
shots I wanted, whereas I couldn't do that with the Sawyer Massacre. Yeah,
Well,
Leatherface's entrance in Sawyer
mm,
Massacre, I needed a gimbal for that shot. I
yeah,
straight up needed a gimbal for that shot. We didn't have a gimbal. It
right.
was impossible to get the shot I wanted. I wanted it going from tight on the knife in his hand and
Yeah,
backing up and going up with him, so you could see kind of similar to the way he's revealed in the room in the original, but a little bit different, where you're backing
yeah,
up and going up with it.
yeah.
So I didn't get it. Unfortunately, it was not. We just didn't have the right equipment for that shot,
Yeah, you have to do what you have to do what you have to do. Well, yeah, I mean, back in the wintertime, I wrote just a tiny little short film that I was intending to do. It's nothing special. It's just about a guy who's got auditioned for Humber College for classical guitar playing. But
oh, cool.
and he's frustrated. He's sitting there, he gets frustrated, he can't play it, he can't play it. And the reveal is he goes over, opens a drawer, and there's hearing aids. He's deaf, and that's why he's struggling. And then
Ah,
he and then he and then he kind of he gets mad and he slams it down. He doesn't want to use them, and then he gets back in and collects himself and kind of plays this beautiful music. So I did a whole shot list. I did about 30 shots for it's only about a minute and a half movie. It's like it was only short, but it's the
30
first time
shots
I
is a
ever.
lot for a minute and a half.
Yeah, that I was cutting it down though. I don't
Yeah,
think it needed to be that long.
probably not.
But I actually had like him him walking in the kitchen and sipping some coffee, going upstairs, getting into the room, setting his tripod up, and going, well, okay, so where do I go now when he's playing guitar? I want this shot. I want so I have somewhat of understanding of like how hard that is, and
Yeah,
to throw away your shot list and say I'm not
throw away your
using this.
shot
No,
list.
I'd
That's
be
like
lost. I'd be
it really was. Me and Charlie had to consult on what to do for a lot of this stuff. It was just like, okay, and thank God he was good at thinking on his feet. He was good, because it's like, I can't do what's on my shot list. I'm lost. What do we do? And he was like always making suggestions on how to capture what I had in the script the best we could with what we have.
right.
And a lot of stuff, unfortunately, that was in the script. I don't know if a bunch of people got to read the script, but the script was way different. It was quite a bit different. If you would read the script, you'd be like, this didn't happen in the movie, and should be like this or whatever. And that's not the case with Unseen, I can say. At least, if anything, I added a little bit, just because I got to finishing the movie, and I thought, I bet people are going to be pissed off about this, and they're going to be pissed off about this. So maybe I should throw them a bone here and there. And even still, I feel like I've thrown these bones to my viewers, and they're still not. You guys still aren't picking everything up. But yeah, But
Well, I still think it was pretty subtle.
I
I
mean,
yeah.
I don't want to spoon feed you guys either. I don't want to
Well,
spoon
that's
feed
what I
everybody.
appreciate too. It's like that's what I like about not horror, but what's what I appreciate about Christopher Nolan is that he never spoon feeds his audience. When you watch Interstellar, he's assuming you know something about science. He's assuming you have enough sense to figure out what E equals MC square is, and not doing a whole lesson during the movie on what this is and how this works and the theory of relativity. He's not holding your hand through that. He's just saying, okay, I'm assuming you guys are going to know all this, and let's
Yeah,
just
I
get
think
to the point.
most filmmakers
Right?
are. Another good example of that was Mother. I know a lot of people were pissed off after they watched that movie, and it took me a bit. I didn't catch on until I was at least halfway through the movie, if not further, what it was really, what the movie really was, and but a lot of people hated it. Once I realized what it was, it's like, okay, this makes much more sense now.
Yeah,
Uh,
once the
you know,
lights go off, you you you're like, "Oh," so it's like the big reveal in The Sixth Sense, right? At the
exactly,
back
yeah.
in the day, you go, "Oh, everything makes
Oh,
sense now." And you go back and watch each shot from that movie, and
yeah,
he was giving it away in broad daylight,
yeah,
really. Like, you could and it's like, "Oh, why didn't I pick up on that?" Like,
yeah.
so
You
yeah.
know why you didn't? Because it was a slow burn too, and
Yeah,
it's like I think about these slow burns. It's easy to get distracted when you're watching a slow burn. It's easy
yeah,
to get distracted by anything, and if you get distracted by anything, you're going to miss something important. That's
yeah,
that's the, that's the key is to make sure you are watching everything that's happening. Question everything you see on the screen. And if you're not questioning everything that's on the screen, you are going to miss something that's important. That's an unfortunate reality when it comes to slow burns. I think it's
Well, without giving
you know
too much away, I was like, well, I'm like watching your film and thinking, okay, everyone he's introduced so far. I go, okay, that person got axed already, so it can't be him. This, and then this part, and I'm going, who's left?
was my misdirection okay? Did you
Eh,
believe that Brady was the killer when he's spying
mm,
on Chris, and he's spying and she's doing the same thing every other girl is doing,
yeah,
and the same music cue comes in, and we're pushing in on him, and then all of us, and then what
yeah,
happens after that? And that was something that wasn't originally in the script. It's something I changed his death in the script. Probably, I don't know, I want to say 2 months before filming. I made this, I said, I really got to try to make him look like he's the killer before we,
yeah,
and make the audience say, oh, it's him. It's definitely got to be him, because he had the flowers and the same flowers,
yeah,
and he has certain characteristics that are similar to the killer, so it made sense, it made sense, but I pulled a 180 on you. And then of course the ex-boyfriend, you know um you know
yeah.
when you were convinced it was him, it wasn't him, although I'll say that it was the cinematographer's idea to make the ex-boyfriend dead.
Oh,
I didn't want to do that originally. And the reason is, well, the girls are like stalking him on Facebook and all the social media. You'd think that they would find that out, that kind
yeah,
of information. You'd think they would, but I don't know if that'll get looked at as a plot hole or not. But I get why he wanted to change it. In the original script, he was just on a trip in Mexico or something, which is not
okay,
very impactful. I get, but at least it would make sense that they wouldn't find that out over, you know, social media posts and so on and so forth. So that was the only reason. But I get, it is sort of more that big reveal, I guess.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm okay with it, I guess. Nobody's complained about it. So did you think that was bad, Jason? I don't.
No, no, I didn't think anything was really. I mean, I try to look at things and go, okay, people, you'll like this if you're this kind of fan. Like,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
like, so if you don't like slow burns, you're probably going to be checking out a lot of the, and
Oh
you're not going to be
yeah,
paying
yeah.
attention. But you got
This
to
movie
like,
won't be for everybody, that's for sure.
and even I showed it to my wife, and she's just not big on point of view shots. Like, they're when they're too much. And
Yeah.
I said the whole film's not like this. Don't worry. But she's a writer. Like, she written a book before, and she's like an
Mhm.
erotic thriller
Oh wow.
story, and so she know. I was just telling maybe you'll pick up on things because of your writing abilities. But we watched it pretty late though, and she kind of halfway through it, she fell asleep because of. But again, it was not because it was boring. It's just because it was like late
Uh,
at night. But yeah, I mean. I'm excited actually to go back and watch that one though. Your film because it's leans
I've
into mystery and all that, and maybe you get something out of it every time.
yeah,
But yeah, I tell you, you gotta like slow burn. If you're not liking slow
yeah, for
burns,
sure.
you may not like
You
this
know,
movie.
I always say this, I never write a movie trying to please everybody because it's impossible,
Yeah,
I personally like slow burns, but I see on different horror movie groups all the time that I hate how slow this movie was or how slow that movie was, how bad the pacing is, and so I get it, you know. I just don't make those types of movies. I don't make super fast paced types of movies
yeah.
that are at least not in the horror genre. Maybe if I do an action movie someday, I'm actually scared to death to do an action film because I see the shots that they have to pull off in action
Oh,
films. And
right, right.
you got to
It's
have
just
like
like
10 things happen, at just the right time. And if you miss it, if an
yeah,
explosion goes off too early, well, that explosion costs about $90,000. So that's
right.
90 grand wasted. It that would scare the hell out of me to do
Well,
an
I
action film.
love Mike Flanagan's like my favorite filmmaker, and he's all about um character development and story and very character building, but he does a lot of this like just zooming in on a person's face and doing a big tilt where everything tilts and very slow and like if you I don't know if you've seen The Haunting of Hill House, but I just an
I have not.
immaculate TV show, immaculate show. Um, and but that's what he's all about. He's all about that slow burn kind of character building, character studies, right?
Yeah,
That's what he does, and um,
I'll have to watch that show now. I don't know what
it's
platform is it
on.
on.
It still might be on Netflix. I don't know if it's
Oh,
left
okay.
yet, but he's got a few on there. But I don't know if you've seen much of his stuff, but you've probably seen Doctor Sleep.
I have
Uh,
not.
You
That's
haven't?
that
Oh, you
that
haven't seen
was that was
this
the Shining
sequel? Yeah. Oh,
sequel.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
I'll
amazing.
be
Yeah.
honest, I was never a big fan of The Shining.
Then
So
you'll like this. You'll
I'm
like
not
this
a
one then.
I'm not a big Kubrick. I'm actually not a big Kubrick guy. A lot of people think that my filmmaking style is Kubrick
I'm
esque.
not a Kubrick guy either.
I've never really been a Kubrick guy. I mean, I appreciate what he's done, but I don't know. And he does a lot of slow burn type stuff too, I guess, to a point. But I don't know.
I will say this. After watching Doctor Sleep, I loved it. It made The Shining a better movie to me.
Oh, yeah, well, that's always
Because
good.
Mike Flanagan is
Yeah,
he pleases people of the book and people of that movie as well, and blends it to like everyone enjoyed it.
yeah.
Like everyone's enjoying it. It's not the same eeriness as The Shining. It's like a different. It's a little different, but I think you'll like it. I think you might
Hmm.
like it. I don't, although you're a
I
hard
might.
guy to judge sometimes.
I don't know. I'm funny. Eh? I mean, I definitely have some unpopular opinions. I know that, but I'm a picky guy when it comes to movies. I always try to avoid movies that I don't think I'm gonna like. Um,
Yeah.
but I usually at least try to at least watch the trailer. If they have a trailer that entices me, I'll give the movie a shot. And sometimes they still let me down, and sometimes I get surprised.
Right.
It's just one
Right.
of those things. So
Yeah. Yeah. Believe it or not, a lot of the movies that people praise, I didn't find that good.
yeah,
Honestly, like when the long legs hype was there, it's like this movie would have
I
been
haven't
just
seen it.
it would have been another just ordinary movie in the 90s. Like it's not Seven, it's not Silence of the Lambs, but it was being praised as such.
Praised as
Same with
such,
The
yeah.
Substance. I thought it was pretty good up to a point, and then I just
Mhm.
like this fucking movie lost me. But even though there's a lot the director's saying in it, there's a lot that's
Yeah,
going on. But yeah, but
yeah.
still,
I know. I don't know. I still haven't seen either of those films.
uh,
I need to get on it. I'm
you
still
may
like
like them.
I'm like 5 years behind. I'm still watching movies from 5 years ago, and
Oh yeah,
sometimes I watch a movie and I'm like, oh, that was great. Like I recently watched the first Hell House movie. I think that's about 5 years old now.
yeah. I got to see that one too.
Yeah, I actually thought it was really well done. If you're not into found footage, you probably
Yeah,
won't like it.
yeah.
If you didn't like the Blair Witch Project, you probably won't like it. But
There's a
I've seen
few
a
I
lot
like.
of Oh yeah, there's definitely a few found footage movies I like. That was definitely one of the better ones. I've seen a lot that I didn't like, and it's usually because the acting is not believable. In found footage, you have to have believable acting,
Yeah.
as believable as possible. And the acting could be okay, and it's still not going to sell me on the found footage. It can't be okay. It has to be great.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about found footage for me, at least, anyways. It has to be great acting, or it doesn't work, and that's why the Blair Witch Project works, and that's why Hell House worked. And there's a couple others. I'm trying to remember the names of a few, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it has to work. And I've seen too many found footage movies where the acting was just not didn't work for me. The
Oh, I liked your
premise might be good, but
I liked your hand
hmm?
shot too. I liked the hand shot too. When
Which
his hand
headshot?
comes, the hand shot where his hand comes around the corner of the wall in your movie.
Oh, like Brady's scene there.
Um,
Is that the one when he grabs him, or
no,
somewhere
no,
else?
no. You have your character. She's sitting, and behind her, you just have him come out with his hand, and
Oh,
then
the older lady
yeah.
the
Sorry, yeah, that's
the
it. The older
caseworker.
lady. That's right.
She's going and
Yeah.
sitting down,
And
and the hand just comes out of the closet.
yeah, and believe it or not, I know you're not a big fan of this movie, but in the original Friday the 13th, they did the same thing.
I
Where
actually like the original Friday the 13th.
okay, I
I
didn't.
I like the second one. Everything
Oh,
after that
okay.
is not for
For
me,
some
but
reason, oh, okay, it was all that. But
yeah.
remember the hand shot
Yeah,
in the stall?
yeah.
That was kind of like, oh, Steve, I love what you're doing here with the little hand and everything like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
an off-screen kill. I don't know what it is about off-screen kills. I have to have at least one in every
yeah,
movie I do, I think. And I don't
yeah.
know, for me, a lot of the off-screen kills in the Sawyer Massacre were better than a lot of the on-screen kills, in my opinion.
It
For me,
depends
they
how
were.
good they look, I guess.
I
Eh?
guess
Yeah,
so. I mean, that's another thing about the Sawyer Massacre. It just we couldn't get the gore effects where we
yeah,
wanted them to be, and that was again, it was just that we did pretty much all the gore stuff in the basement for the most part, and that was we met the SFX artist for the first time, and it was like, why don't we try this contraption and see if that works? And you know,
right.
I hate to say a lot of them didn't work, but yeah, they didn't really work. I wish we had more time. If we had more time, I'm sure we could have figured out how to do some of that stuff. But yeah, it is what it is. Some of the gore stuff is pretty good. I mean, but I think that the wound on Jean's face was like the wound stuff was good, but the
Yeah,
blood splatter stuff, I don't know, it didn't
yeah,
quite work for me. But
yeah. It's yeah, and you know what the craziest thing is that the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre has very little blood in it.
very little, yeah.
When you actually go back and watch it, you're just like, it's all suggestion, right?
Yeah,
And that's what's so great about it. Like you literally watch the movie, Leatherface pops out of nowhere. You kind of see him stick the blade into the kid in the wheelchair, Franklin. But in your mind, you're seeing him get split in half and everything.
yeah.
Your mind does funny things in that movie.
Oh, yeah,
Like
for
you know what I
sure.
mean? Like
I mean, I'll say, like, there's not a lot of gore in that movie, but every bit of gore that you do see in that movie, it works. So, I mean, that's the thing, and I don't think it worked for us a lot of times in the Sawyer Massacre. Some of it did, some of it didn't. But I would say this: we don't have a lot of gore in Unseen, but I feel like all the gore we did have worked.
worked. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like it did. I don't know. I definitely feel a
Oh, it
lot
wasn't that
better.
kind of movie. Like it's a
It wasn't,
methodical. I look at it
we
as a
had,
methodical movie.
yeah,
It's a little more like slow, methodical. Like you said, there's clues, there's subtleties.
yeah,
You got to pay attention. You got to rely on performances. Speaking of, like how we're working with this crew, these actors.
awesome. The
Yeah,
actors were the best. I will say that. I mean, uh, you know, uh, Trinity gave it her all playing Crystal, and we had cast her quite a bit before filming, and I didn't realize how young she was. Because we had auditions. We were auditioning for months, and we had a ton of auditions for Crystal coming when we started auditioning this movie. and it came down to her and another girl, and the other girl actually got cast as Amy. And so her age was closer to Crystal than Trinity's was for sure. Trinity's like, I'm just 19 years old, just so you know. And by the time we were filming, I think she was 20, but her character's supposed to be about 28-ish. So I usually you cast older, you want to cast somebody who's about 30, 31 or something like that to play a 28-year-old character. But we were the opposite. We had a 20-year-old playing a 28-year-old, but she just, I don't know, the way she performed the character, she had it. She had all the nuances that you want, all the subtleties that made the character exactly what I wanted. That this sort of broken down person who's trying to put their life back together, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did a fantastic job.
Yeah. I thought everyone was pretty good. Like I said, I like the character Jessica. Something just resonated with me with her for some reason. I don't know, maybe the alpha female in her.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. It's just, characters do that sometimes, right?
Yeah. She gives off that big sister vibe, and I'm going to protect you kind of character. And so and Katerina got the character. That's what I'll say. And she was very, very serious about nailing the role. She was working with an acting coach every day while on set. They were over at the Airbnb, and she would be on Skype or Zoom or whatever with her acting coach, going over today's scenes that she had to prepare for. And
I will say this. Like, what I look for when I'm watching as someone who wants to be entertained and stuff, and I'm a person who likes looking at acting. Like, that's one of the reasons I love movies, is watching the acting. And after she delivers her lines, is she just waiting for the next line, or is she still in character? And she was completely still in character.
Oh, yeah.
She wasn't sitting around waiting, like kind of just going deer in headlights look. You see it all the time on big movies.
Oh,
see
yeah.
it all the
I hear you.
I remember watching Backdraft with William Baldwin and Kurt Russell, and William Baldwin's like looking at Kurt Russell like, what do I do next? Because you're so awesome. and it's like, buddy, you're completely slipping out of your character all the time. Like,
he was pretty new back then. That
he was. But he's still not a good actor.
He's still you don't see him much anymore, eh?
Yeah.
What else was he in? He was in that one. He was in Sliver with Sharon Stone.
Flatliners.
I think Flatliners.
Yeah.
He was in Flatliners, and again, he was at got Kiefer Sutherland and Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon, he
all good actors, right?
Yeah,
out of his element. But yeah, and I didn't see that with I didn't see that with most of your crew. There was, and especially like how you did the awkward date between Brady and like that was really well done. That's how an awkward date looks.
I'll say this, because I wanted it so awkward, I gave Roland Keller a little bit more free range on the dialogue. A little bit. He didn't, like in the Sawyer Massacre, William Instone had all free range with his dialogue as Rex, because he says he's terrible at memorizing lines. But with that date, I wanted Roland Keller to feel awkward, so I wanted him to kind of, not try to stick to the script exactly. And some of the stuff he says in that date, I don't know. And even in the car scene, he said some stuff in that car scene with him and Devin, played by Sarkis. That, like, some of the little things he says, it cracks me up. Even like when he says in the car, he says, "I'm pushing the wrong side of 30 here." That wasn't in the script. And the way he said, and he calls him Bubba, the way he calls Devin Bubba.
Yeah, I found that odd. He's calling his friend Bubba. I'm like, oh, my sister called my oldest brother Bubba. So,
but it feels so natural. He was able to really naturalize the character by doing those little things, And as long as it didn't take away from the story, I felt like, man, it was good. It really made the character more natural. And so
I thought when you first introduced him and he's sweaty and everything, I'm like, did he just fucking get high or something? Or is it like is he doing drugs? Then I realized, oh, he went for a freaking run. I'm like
and I don't know if what my intention there was working or not. Again, it's to imply that maybe he was in a run in the park. The previous scene was in a park.
Yeah,
He
yeah, I get that. I get
okay, I
that.
wasn't
Yeah,
sure if people made that connection or not, that,
yeah,
"Hey, maybe we're setting this guy up to be the killer." Like,
yeah,
everything that he was doing was similar to what the killer was doing. He was
yeah.
in the park,
I
you
get
know,
that.
and then he went to the library. Killer was in the library stalking the
But
girl.
I was also like, this is Steve's doing this on purpose. This is our red hair, like
Maybe,
our like
maybe.
like the
And
little.
and
That's
that
what it
was
felt
kind of
like because it's too
intentional too.
soon. I was
Yeah,
like, this is too
exactly.
soon. So
It was a little bit intentional that you would think that it's a red herring, but then you get to that moment
yeah,
where he's seeing Crystal writing, and I hope that by that point it's like, oh, it definitely is him now. You're thinking, okay, he definitely is the killer. It's not a red herring, and then I pull that 180 on you,
yeah.
But I love that bit. I don't know if it works as well as I wanted it to or not, but I feel like that was like the perfect 180 to pull on the audience. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's up to the audience, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of yeah, it's a I thought they all did a good job. Creepy little movie, and the way he just, he's strangling out people is that can be visceral, right? There's something about,
I'll say
this
this:
killing so
Roland Keller, who plays Brady, in some scenes he was the hands of the killer.
Oh, was
We
he? Okay.
we had about at least a dozen different people playing the hands of the killer. Our cinematographer plays the killer a couple times. I do quite a bit. I believe I strangled the first girl in the park. That's me.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's my hands a lot of the times in the actual killer's house. When talking to the dead bodies and stuff like that, doing all the hand movements and grabbing the characters. That's like all me. And then a lot of the camera crew, the sound guy was the hands coming out of the closet in the closet scene that you like.
Well,
One of the
that's what's cool. You can kind of
Yeah,
you can kind of do that when because of the way you shot it, right? You can have
yeah.
different people doing.
If
I
I would have had
remember.
my way, if I would have had my way, I would have had one consistent actor portray the character. But we had different crew members on every day, and
Yeah,
sometimes no crew members. So again, I get to be the hands when there's no crew members on, because there's
it's
no
you
way
don't
William's
pick.
gonna.
I didn't notice. I mean, it all looked consistent to
Yeah.
me. Like, you know what
We're
I mean?
worried about that a little bit, like all our hands look similar enough,
I don't.
but
If
but
some
I don't
people
think
maybe
people pick up on that. Yeah, I
I
don't
didn't pick
think
up
any.
on it. I think you're
Yeah,
just kind of in the moment. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um.
If you are picking up on it, you're probably over analytical. Like William Amendola, our cinematographer, he's really analytical with this stuff. He wanted to scrap. He wanted me to scrap certain shots because of tiny mistakes, like in the opening sequence where Amy takes off her engagement ring.
Yeah.
She had it on the wrong hand. She had the engagement ring on the wrong hand. He's like, that is a major fuck up, Steve. He
Yeah.
was trying to convince me that that people are going to be mad at me for years for that sort of thing. That I'll be looked at as a terrible, terrible director because the ring was on the wrong finger. Like when he was coloring the film after I'd edited it, he flipped that whole scene around
Oh,
just so
okay.
that the ring would match. And I told him to flip it back because it's looked freaking confusing because you have some shots that aren't aren't flipped around because we have the phone in that same scene. And if we would have kept
Yeah.
the same,
I
the
didn't notice.
numbers on all the words and numbers on the phone would have been backwards, right? So
I
I
didn't
said,
notice the whole
yeah,
ring thing.
I
That's
told him flip it back, man,
the only
flip it
thing my
back.
wife said. The only thing my wife said, but she says this about every movie too, is that when he's strangling these women out, he's like, she would not be able to scream if he was really pushing down on her. But that's
Probably not like we had, that's for sure. I don't know.
but those are little things. That's
Yeah.
my wife has a my wife picks up on weird things sometimes where I go, I didn't even think of that, honey. So I was
Yeah. One of the big screams we had though was a backer scream, and I was having a hard time finding a good place to put it, so I used one of those strangulation scenes, but I did it where we cut away from what's happening, and you can imply that maybe he was easing up on her a little bit or something, or pinning her down. I don't know. There's different ways you can
right.
interpret that, and there was a big scream that you hear in that one scene. I think we're like looking at the house where I did kind of a pull away from the house during that scream, and I don't know. It's it was the strangulation scenes. I never expected them to be as tough as they actually were, because one, you don't want to hurt the actual actress.
Yeah, and you could see your hands on them, but not
Yeah.
really. I mean, like how, what are you supposed to do? I mean, you can't hurt them. You
Hmm.
can't put like if I was really to grab someone and really and really squeeze, they'd be turning blue. And I mean, but I thought you get the point across. You get
You
what
get
you're
the
trying
point
to do,
across.
right?
It's indie, so
Yeah,
we didn't have stunt people on set to help with all that kind of stuff, and so
yeah,
we did okay with what we had to work with.
yeah.
So it could you look at it as something that could have been improved on? For sure, there's a number of things I think could have been improved on, and if you give me $1 million, Jason, I'll definitely do better. It's one of
Yeah,
those things.
yeah.
But when you're making a movie for under $50,000,
I get it.
even under $100,000, man, you're gonna have little technical things, you know.
I see some of these fan films like Jason Rising's a really good one actually, and I see some of the stunt work they pull off, and I'm like, this is like a real Friday the 13th movie. And
Yeah.
he's the and directed by James Sweet. He was working with under 100 grand,
Wow.
and just some of the work they did get. You know what I mean? It's just amazing how some of this stuff is looking better than it has the right to be. Like some of
Yeah,
them,
I wonder how sometimes well, I mean, depends on you have to see what's in it, I guess, ultimately. How many locations are there? How many actors and crew members you have to pay and all that kind of stuff like
well,
that.
with me and James Sweet talk a lot, and he's actually do fundraising right now for Jason Rising too. But
Yeah.
in the first one, a storm came in and blew their whole cabins out away and everything, and he had to like go in himself, rebuild them,
Whoop.
like get a crew, rebuild the stuff. Like
Wow.
I remember him telling me, like 20 grand or 30 grand. He goes, yeah, well, that's a good start. That would get-
It is. It is, man,
he
and
says you just
you
have
know,
no idea how much these things cost. Like this,
if you want
it's
special effects in your movie, you want good special effects,
yeah.
man, you probably need to be. I mean, a lot of these, I think a lot of these fan films, well, I think a lot of fan films, they don't pay the cast and crew quite as much typically. A lot of the cast, in fact, a lot of them, Indiegogo, a lot of Indiegogo stuff, there's the pay to play sort of
Yeah.
thing, which I was guilty of a little bit with the Sawyer massacre, and there's kind of a negative look on that. I think I got lucky with Sawyer massacre. We kept our pay to play stuff pretty small though.
Yeah.
Like you just get to be killed but a lot of them are like we're casting as main characters, and these are people that have no acting experience, and sometimes it turns out good, sometimes it doesn't. But so some of these anything that's raised on Indiegogo, I think sometimes you get that where you didn't pay the cast, they paid you. They made your budget for you
Well,
pretty much a lot of
that's
them.
why I would like if I was to do a horror film first, my very first outing, it would be more like what you did. It'd be a more slow burn. It would be attention and like I kind of like the paranormal genre, like kind of
Okay.
like the Conjuring style stuff, the Exorcism of Emily Rose. I think films like that are fantastic, and you don't need a lot of blood. You don't need a lot of gore. It's all try to get people unsettled first, right?
Yeah.
And Yeah, I love stuff like that. So, okay, so Steve, let's get into like, what was the hardest scene to pull off in this movie?
Oh, let me think about that here. Probably, I mean, probably the first scene we shot, which was of um, the mother coming to the house to tell Crystal about her dad, which we don't find out what that's about, but it's really just supposed to be her knowing that her dad's getting out of jail, and she was going to tell herself that she's not her real mother, sort of thing. But anyways, but that was the hardest to film simply because we had bad weather. We had construction down the road, so a lot of the audio we couldn't use. We couldn't do ADR for Jamie Hill's character as the mother, but I did do ADR for the other Tammy Wyatt, who plays Ashley, because she lives local, and it was going to help the scene that much more. But Jamie's lines, thankfully, didn't get stepped on too much with the construction. You can hear a little bit here and there, but yeah, that was the toughest. It was the first scene we shot for the movie,
Right?
and we're there shooting it, and we had we had Tammy at the bottom of the stairs as Ashley. She was at the bottom of the stairs. We had Jamie at the top knocking on the door, and they start their dialogue with her at the bottom of the stair, with Ashley at the bottom, Crystal's mom at the top, and it starts to hail right in the middle of this. And we're putting this on our blooper reel for the Blu-ray. By the way, it just starts to hail like crazy, and it's like, we cannot do this. And the problem was Jamie Hill, who plays Crystal's mother, she lives in Edmonton, and we had booked her flight from Edmonton to here and her flight back. Well, there's like a 2-hour window, so we're
Oh,
already like an hour into this at this point, because our airport's not exactly that close by. It takes like 25 minutes just
right.
to get to the location. So we had literally like 15-20 minutes probably to shoot this scene, and it starts hailing. So we're like, okay, we have to move everything underneath the awning of this house and just take it from there. So if you watch the movie, you'll notice that all of a sudden Ashley is at the top of the stairs when you never see her go. You never actually see her walking up the stairs to go talk to the mother. But I added footstep sounds. I added some Foley effects
It's
in there
clever.
to hopefully sell it. Nobody's complained about it, so I feel like
Yeah,
I'm the only one that doesn't like it. But it's if you look at it, you'll notice. Okay, you never even get the motion of her going up the stairs, and there's not even a motion of
yeah,
this happening. And it's just you hear the footsteps though, and hopefully it's enough to imply that she went upstairs. And again, nobody's complained about it, but it's a small thing though too. At the end of the day, I don't know if people would complain about that, but you never know what people are going to complain about though, Jason. I mean, everybody was so pissed that the rims on the car in the Sawyer massacre were it's like, man, really.
yeah,
The chainsaw sound was all dubbed in. Well, guess what? The chainsaw sound is all dubbed in on every chainsaw movie, but they noticed that our chainsaw wasn't running. Well, that was because that was a 1950s chainsaw,
yeah.
and it was really old. It was really loud, and it was very, very dangerous. And we didn't have the right safety crew on set
Well,
to
that's what people don't
allow
think
that.
of. They don't
I
think
know,
of
it's
like,
like,
it's like they don't think
they
of
really
like,
bothered by that,
like they don't think of like there's a dangerous factor here. Um, you got to think about in the editing. You know what I mean? If things are too
Yeah,
loud, maybe, I don't know, like that kind of stuff. There's all the blocking. Like people don't
yeah.
realize there's, if you've never even thought about film that way, blocking a scene and
Oh, yeah.
like
It's tough.
you tell people like every movie you watch, it may look like these characters are know where they're going and everything. That they're following a route that's done by the director, right? It's they're following a route. Like they just don't go. I'm gonna walk here, I'm gonna go there. You know what I mean? There's a
Yeah,
complete path they got to follow, and pauses
exactly.
and everything, right? Like
Yeah.
it's um and like I just have an interest in it, so I'll go on YouTube and watch things about blocking and
Oh, the
all
blocking
this,
is
and then I'm
again
like
another
I'm
one of
like
our
I did.
curses on the Sawyer massacre
Yeah,
was being able to block out the scenes. Well, it was run and gun, man. It was
yeah,
we had no time. It was, but we made it work. You know, we made it work, and
yeah.
it turned out better than I thought it was going to turn out. I'll say that much. But yeah,
Power of editing, eh?
a little bit, and at the end of the day, actors that knew what they were doing for the most part. They've done. It's not the first time they've had to do this before, right? Where the blocking is not going to be totally perfect because you just don't have the time to get it totally perfect. So it worked out okay. At the end of the day, I thank everybody that made that work. But man, I'll admit, after I was done shooting the Sawyer massacre, I was not happy with it. I was,
Yeah.
I was like, I bet this is going to turn out terrible. And I started seeing the edit come together, and I was like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I expected this scene to be worse. I expected that to be worse. And,
Oh,
it's,
that's another thing. I went down an editing rabbit hole on YouTube, and
yeah,
like people like yourself, but people um who have made lots of movies, and the guy showing you him this little editing tricks. And here I'm thinking editing is just putting audio in and putting cutting a scene. I'm like, he completely changed the pacing of something just by doing some little trick where the actor turns slower, like at normal speed. He just
yeah,
slowed it down and made some cut, and I'm like, wow, that it's just amazing. Like people wonder why it takes so long to edit the film. I get it. I completely understand. I mean, I couldn't
yeah.
imagine editing one. I think it would be fun. I think it would be really fun to edit a
Yeah, I mean,
film,
I
but
had had the first cut of the movie done fairly quickly. I think it took me about a month to do the first cut, but I realized pretty quickly that I had a lot of shots missing from the movie. So that's when reshoots came in, and I had to learn how to use a camera properly.
yeah,
uh, my DP walked me through it and help me set it up properly, and I got I a lot, at least a good 15 to 20 shots I did after the fact. The news reporter, I had to shoot that after because
yeah,
we didn't have his news reporter. We didn't have that ready yet. He hadn't filmed the whole scene yet, so I had to wait until he could send me the whole thing. And there was one shot I missed. I remember. I think it wasn't anything big. I think it was Stacy throwing her phone and it falling between the couch cushions
oh yeah,
because
I remember that.
they find her phone. So
Yeah,
she gets off the phone with her mom, and you see her kind of going to the living room, but we wanted a tight of the phone going into the couch cushion, so you knew that that's where they were going to find it later.
yeah,
That's the only shot. That's the only pickup shot I missed. I'm not too bummed about it, but it would be nice if it was there. But that and some of the shadows, and then there's the big reveal at the end of the movie that you still haven't caught. I shot
yeah,
that myself as well, and little things, a lot of the cast and crew were uncomfortable with us filming with an actual knife on set, so
yeah,
I had to cleverly do the knife scene, the knife coming down, just that shot of the knife coming down.
yeah,
I had to cleverly do that in my own house too. It's not even the same location, but I had to light it so it was more or less exact same lighting as
yeah,
where we shot. And luckily my walls in this house kind of matched the walls in
yeah.
that other house. So
Oh
things
yeah,
like that. There was a handful of stuff I knew I needed to get, and thankfully I got it. And overall, I can't complain. It's a movie made for around 30,000 Canadian or American dollars. It was more like 40 to 45,000 Canadian. So
still pretty good. It's an hour.
not a lot of
It's a
money, but
90-minute film, man. Like it's a 90-minute
89
film.
minutes.
Yeah, so it's
No credits.
yeah, I mean it's and I pretty good job with the. I mean that's a lot of footage to go through. I'd imagine, like when you're first editing.
Yeah,
right?
and there were
And
some little things that we noticed too. That there were some mess ups that we did while filming. William, this was your fault, our cinematographer. When we shot the bathroom scene and her running down the stairs after,
yeah,
we had shot one of the scenes of got one of the angles of her going down the stairs the same day that we shot the whole bathroom scene,
yeah,
and we shot that all, I believe, with the lights off. The lights were completely off, and we had to get another angle at another time, but we had run out of time that day, so
you did it with the lights on.
we
Yeah,
picked it up another day, and he was convinced that the lights were on. Myself and Trinity, who plays Crystal, were both telling him we're pretty damn sure the lights were off. We're pretty damn sure that the lights were off. Uh, but he was like, no, they were on. So we shot them with the lights on, and I went back to it after and I said, I think we're gonna have to lose this shot, dude, because it won't work. It doesn't match. I don't know how but he did it in color correcting. He did it. He kept that shot and just made it way darker, which I guess
yeah.
it's easier to do that, but to make it that dark, I don't know how he did it, but he did. Somehow he did it.
Now, do you when you're filming, do you do a lot of do you do a lot of coverage? Like, do you shoot the same scene from different angles?
I would like to.
But
I don't think we do it. I don't think I've ever done as much as I would want to. Um, but uh, but yeah, we do shoot from a lot of different angles. Because there's, I mean, there's shots you have to get. You know, I always try to. We always try to do it so you keep the camera in the same spot as long as it's needed. So sometimes you need to do like two or three scenes with the camera in this one section. So like we had all those living room scenes with the girls.
yeah,
So there's at least two or three of them, and so we shot one angle for two scenes, and then we went back and we got the different angles. You know, you did the tight angles, and you did your extra ones with the camera moving on a slider and all that kind of stuff, but still capturing. But it's hard for the actors because they're shooting one scene and then they're going to the next scene and then they're going back to the first scene, because you don't want to set up the camera too many times because that just takes up so much time. So you gotta, every
yeah. That's
time
why
you
they don't
change.
film it. That's why they don't film it in order, right? It's like,
Yeah,
let's get all these. If you're in this certain room, maybe do all
exactly.
everything here first, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah.
tough for
When
the
I was
actors more than anything else, but yeah, when you do that, it's just when you're on a time crunch, for sure you have to do that. You just don't have a choice. And this was shot in 12 days unseen, where
okay,
Sawyer was 9 days on Sawyer. Oh my God, I don't know how he did that, but
that's a
so
lot for that movie.
we had a little bit more room to work with. And again, all the pickup shots I did after the fact with like the news reporter, and a lot of just little shots that needed to be picked up on. But so yeah, I mean, I try to get as many as I need, but at the same time with this movie, I knew I definitely wanted a lot of shots that were were more drawn out. I didn't want a lot of scenes that had a ton of cuts going to them, except in like the really intense type of stuff. But when you're trying to build suspense, holding on the same shot for as long as you can is very beneficial. You know, you don't want to be cutting every 2 seconds
No, it's not
when
that
you're
kind of
trying to build
film, right?
suspense. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely
not that
not.
kind of film. I understand what you're going for sure. It made sense to me. Like all that stuff made sense. I didn't pick up on the some of the clues, but the way you shot it, I was like, oh yeah, I this is good. I like the way he's approaching this and all that. So
We
all right,
made it work.
yeah, yeah, you made it work. So what kind of reaction are you hoping people, or I know you got some reactions, but in the more people watch this, what kind of reaction are you hoping people have when they watch this?
A genuine one. At the end of the day, I know not everyone is going to like it. If you didn't like the film, I'd like to know what you didn't like about it. You know, I'm not a man with a huge ego. I'm still consider myself a fairly green when it comes to filmmaking, even though I've been working at it for about more than 10 years now. But I never went to film school.
Yeah.
I got all my film training volunteering on people's sets, and then going to shorts, and working on Hallmark films and other low indie films where I got to play Ron Perlman's hands for a scene. Ever seen The Last Victim? I think
No.
that's on Tubi. It might be on Tubi. Last Victim. There's a scene where Ron Perlman's a sheriff or something, and he picks up this finger. It was
Yeah.
somebody's finger, and he puts it in a evidence bag. Well, that's my hands that are putting it in the evidence bag. So, anyways, you do stuff like that, anyways, and so I'm always I want to be open to criticism. I think a lot of people might find that it's kind of a little too abstract. Part of me is like, maybe I should have tried to a little harder to make some of these things easier to pick up on,
You
but
might get that criticism. I mean,
I
see,
could
I don't
see it.
find it a negative because
Yeah,
it's like, did we have to know who Billy was?
yeah, you
Black
didn't have to,
Christmas?
but you know what? There's a lot there, and
Yeah, right.
that's one of the things I like about Black Christmas. Every time I watch it, I'm understanding a little bit more of those phone calls that he's, and I think I'm understanding more of who Billy was and who his family is, and that's kind of the thing I was trying to do a little bit with this
Yeah,
character. He's not Billy in any way. He's
yeah.
nothing like Billy, the character,
No,
my character, other than the way we shot his POV stuff. But the character himself is more like a different character in Black Christmas. And I won't say who, but it might you might realize that once you get to understand who this is a little bit more. But
I know who you're talking about.
you think you know who I'm talking about, huh?
Piano
Well,
Boy, I think.
Piano Boy. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Well, maybe you're right. Maybe you're not.
maybe I'm not. Yeah,
And if
I
you
don't
want
know.
to know if you're right or not, I'll tell you after. I'm not going to say
Okay.
anything. Piano Boy. I like that. Piano Boy. But
Ah,
anyways, where was I going with that? Yeah, at the end of the day, I know, I mean, and this is a movie again made for, 30,000 American dollars
mm,
roughly, give or take. So I mean, it's not going to be perfect. I do hope that it is a movie that people are going to pick up little things here and there every time they watch it. I hope that there's people that like some suspense out there, and I think there is, but it's not for everybody. So, some of the reactions I have got, again, we got a great review from the lady who did the painting in the movie, and some of the stuff she said, man, it's like, man, you actually got it. I hope people
yeah,
will read that review and maybe even start to understand a little bit of it themselves. It's that's what this movie really is at its heart. So um, it might be a misunderstood movie to a lot of people, but I hope that those people that get it really get it, and will like it for that, even if they don't pick up on every little thing that's in there, because you know what, they're not gonna, unless they hear me in an interview talking about every little thing. But some of it's ambiguous, and I want there to be ambiguity because I
like
love
the Thing, man.
ambiguity.
Like the
Yeah,
Thing. The Thing
the
was
ending the
completely
ending of the thing was awesome. That was a
right.
great ending.
You didn't, and little things
Yeah,
throughout that movie are just all ambiguous. Well, who it could have been this one? Like it's full of
yeah,
mystery. Yeah, that's what you want. Like I looked at your movie like this is a really good experience. It was like, like one of the
great.
things I posted on Instagram, I said, whatever you do, don't watch it alone.
I think that's great.
Yeah, you know
That's
what I mean?
awesome.
And I
You
think
know, and
I really think guys too, and if you're watching after the fact too, if you're not here in the chat right now and you're watching after the fact, I really think you should watch this like in the dark alone. Not alone, but have the lights off. Like I think it's a movie that you should set the mood for, because I think
definitely.
you'll get a more of experience out of that. Like you got to watch Nightmare on Elm Street when you're in a dark basement. That's the
Oh,
only way to
definitely.
watch that movie.
I know I did the first time I watched
Yeah.
that movie. It's like, and I was pretty damn, I don't even know how old I was, maybe 8 or 9 when I watched it for the first time, the first Nightmare on Elm
Yeah,
Street. So, I mean, yeah, I was, oh.
yeah.
But my brother Alex, who is coincidentally the same age as you, he's a year older than me, and he that was his favorite growing up. He loved Freddy Krueger when we were kids, and even tried to, well, attempted to be Freddy Krueger for Halloween one year with makeup. Realized he couldn't really do the makeup very well, but he was getting all pissed off that he couldn't get this anything. I don't remember what he was trying to do it with, but like he was trying to do it with like silly putty or something like that. It was not working for him. But anyways,
All right, so I'll just end this now, Steve. With
no worries.
what's next for Steve Merlo? Is we going back to the podcast for a bit, or are we making our next movie?
A little of both. I've got to get back on the old computer and finish writing my next screenplay because I've been putting it off for quite a while. It's there's a file saved on my computer. I won't give too much away at this point, but it does lean a little bit more towards a Texas Chainsaw kind of feel. It's not a fan film. It's not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, but it's looking like it's kind of going in that sort of direction a little bit. Yeah. But no chainsaws. There won't be any chainsaws or Leatherface. But yeah.
That's
but I do cool. Hope to go back to go back to more of this type of stuff though too, because again I like this. And I have some cool ideas for more movies like Unseen. But yeah.
Oh man, my computer's full of outline scripts, like where I just got the idea and the beats of it, and the beats of it, and I'm right now during between November to the end of Christmas, I got on a tear and I wrote 188 pages.
Wow!
So it's shaping more like a 6-episode little mini series, if you will. Could I cut it down? Maybe I can cut it down, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm in love with every scene. So I'm like,
well, then don't do it. I'm
going to show it to people though. I'll show it to people because especially people like you have been there and done that, and tell me, okay, where's the filler in this? Because there probably is, right? And I'm going to get a lot of people's opinions and stuff like that. But I'm going to go back to it, but I wrote the first 60 pages and then I left it for 6 months and then I went on a tear with it. And I'm still, it's like a music Southern, kind of redemption story, kind of fable almost. I'm a real fan of blues music and from the old Delta times. So it all takes place in Mississippi and around, I don't say the date, but it's supposed to be the 60s, early 70s, and I'm tapping into old Robert Johnson lore and at the crossroads deals with the devils and stuff like that, and it takes place in this small town. But I just started going on a tear and I go, what do you know? Well, I know I love blues music and I want to see, I've always wanted to see somebody make something that kind of honored that and just the whole culture of it all. So and I wrote this before Sinners come out, everyone. So don't.
I still haven't seen Sinners. Like I said, I'm 5 years behind. I'm still watching movies from 2020 and 2021. So. I've always been someone who just can't seem to get it done. And I was like, wow, I really got on it. I really did well with that so far. I almost got it done. Like it's still a work in progress, but I got some short films. Is finishing a feature-length screenplay for sure is definitely an accomplishment in it of itself, So, and then you go back and you keep looking at it and saying this could be better, or this could be better, and it's like it seems like after you got the first draft, you're still like going back so much and rewriting stuff, changing stuff around, and even happens while you're making the movie. It's again with especially with Sawyer Massacre. The script is far different than the movie turned out to be. Definitely not nowhere near as much with Unseen. Unseen is pretty darn close to the script, but that's good.
Yeah, so I know every time I get an idea, I just mark it in my computer. I write a few things and I write concepts a lot, and then I go, I'm going to tackle this one day because when I get this one done, then that kind of thing, and then it's fun though. It's fun coming up with a cool idea and just kind of running with it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, but that's all I got, Steve. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks,
for
thanks for having me, man. It's a lot of fun.
episode
And
68.
episode 68. Oh boy. And what's the name of the show?
It's
Just
just
Backtrack
Backtrack
Cinema
Cinema Live.
Live. Okay,
That's
there you
it.
go. Episode 68.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm up to. I just did episode 90 of my Merlo's Movie Massacre the other night.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm 10 away from 100, man. It's 10 away.
I mean, this is just the live content. I got tons of other stuff, but as far as my live show, this is episode 68, guys. And if you like retro cinema, I do a lot of like watch parties and rankings and reviews and talking horror action from the 70s, 80s, 90s. So yeah. So subscribe, all that kind of stuff if you like all that fun stuff. And yeah, let's let me pull my I'm sure I have to get out of here soon, guys. So I'm sure Steve does too. So just let me quickly, everyone who showed up. And telling us I didn't even see you there, buddy. Sorry. How you doing, man? It says hello.
Hello.
The Paula Fitzhenry, Marion. Who else showed up here? Gory Tiger, thank you. Jamie, thank you, and good job in the movie, by the way. And yeah, that's all I got. So awesome. Everyone, you guys have a good night. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to be taking the weekend off. I got some stuff to do, but I'll be back shortly on the channel again. So you all take care. Have a good night, and we will see you again. Cheers.
See ya.